So I never really got, the flavor coffee, like for ice cream and shit.
I mean,
No, I'm dead serious. I never got it. I don't drink coffee because I like the taste of coffee. Do people really like the taste of
I
coffee?
don't think anyone does. You buy it
Like,
for the
well, no,
to pick you
yeah,
up.
yeah. See, Hannah likes the flavor coffee ice cream. I'm like, why? She's like, because I like the taste of coffee. I'm like, yeah, I drink coffee, but I don't like the taste of it. I
You
never
drink
really
it for
got
the
it.
taste.
I just reckon it tastes funny. I don't know what that's about.
It's a weird
It's,
decision.
I mean, there's weird flavors out there of ice cream, like
Oh, there is,
some fucked up ones.
for sure.
Yeah, have you ever seen like the energy drink flavored ones?
Oh, they're disgusting. Like the V donut that
Yes.
Donut King's selling. I'm just like,
No.
it makes me feel uncomfortable. My body breaks down looking at it.
I'll tell you what makes me feel uncomfortable. Peter Dinklage as a giant midget.
Hey, okay, welcome to Screenshot.
Welcome to Screenshot, everybody. You'll never guess what we're talking about this week.
Yeah, funnily enough, we saw a movie yesterday.
A little indie film.
Okay, that's... You're the one that was shooting on me for making that joke. Now you're making the joke, so...
I'm bringing it back.
Here we are. I'm Nathan, and that's
I'm Ryan.
And, yeah, so we won't get into that straight away. We got some other stuff to talk about quickly. I mean, normally we'd start off with that sort of thing, but I feel like it's probably going to be a bit of a discussion. I don't know about you, but...
Yeah. I mean, it might be a little bit of a discussion.
It might take a little while to talk about. I did say to you we were going to do a non-spoiler review, but now that I've seen it, there's not really much to say that isn't a spoiler.
I can try and summarize the plot.
No, I feel like everything's just too vague. Like, every non-spoiler review I've seen is like, this character could use more screen time, but they actually say this character, not what character it is. And it's like, I feel like that's sort of what we have to do to be really careful. So, we'll probably just use spoilers, but we'll get to it.
Well, yeah, if you start trying to go around the characters, like especially at the start, when the character bites the dust.
Wow.
How you gonna explain him not being around?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, we'll get into that. But first off, I want to talk about, because last week we were sort of talking about the structure of like what we want to do with future ones of these. Particularly when we don't have movies coming out, because there's not always movies that we want to see out every week, obviously. So I'll get into that. So next week, I'll do to the end of May for now. So next week we got X-Men, because it's sort of in the lead up to Deadpool, and I also haven't seen it for a while. So I figured.
I mean, we could watch Wolverine Origins.
Oh, we could do that too.
Because that's got Deadpool in it, and that movie is a masterpiece.
Something like that. Anyway, so yeah, that's next week. The week after that, Deadpool, and then the week after that is Deadpool 2. So I figured that Deadpool, we can watch that before we see the second one. Just get a recap on it, because...
Yeah, well, I fucking love it. It's on Netflix as well, isn't it?
Probably. I don't know.
I think it is now, so yeah, it's easy to watch.
Sounds good. And then the week after that is... excuse me. Is Solo. But, like, I don't know if we're going to see that yet. So if we don't, we can watch Phantom Menace.
Ooh, or we could watch Attack of the Clones, the best prequel.
Yeah, sure. Revenge of the Sith, actually not that bad. So
I actually liked Revenge of the Sith. It was probably the better one, the best one of them.
As I was telling you, I met someone who also enjoys the prequels, and I was very happy with that. So.
Ooh, Nathan's got a crush.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so the last one for May. I mean, actually, after May is pretty obvious. So 7th of June, Incredibles. 14th of June, Incredibles 2. And then 21st of June, Jurassic World 2, because that's when that comes out.
Yeah.
But we might move that around. We'll let you know if we are. But the 31st of May, this is a bit of a stretch. Ocean's 8 comes out the week after that, but I don't know if we're going to see that, and also Incredibles. And Ocean's 11, I don't know if you remember that movie. That was pretty good.
You mean that excellent movie starring George Clooney?
I was about to say it starred George Clooney. Do you know another movie starred George Clooney? Batman and Robin. So that's what we're watching.
Yeah. Wow. I could probably think of better movies, but
that's what we're watching. So
Yeah, fuck me. That movie. All right. All right, I'm gonna take us to the bench for a second. I want to talk about this. I used to watch Batman and Robin so
here we go.
fucking often. Because basically, we used to drive to Queensland. Yeah, we used to drive, not fly, because of like dad didn't fly or whatever.
Yep.
So we used to drive up there. And me and my sister were younger. We went. So what was I like? You know, I would have been 8. She would have been no. I was like 10, so she would have been like 6 or whatever.
Yep.
And so we're like, oh, Batman and Robin, this classic film. Let's just watch this about 3 times in one car trip.
Oh yeah, that's the film I want to watch 3 times in one go.
I didn't know any better, and I loved Mr. Freeze.
I mean, yeah, come on, it's pretty great. I didn't see it when I was a kid, so I don't have that connection to it. I saw it when I was
Honestly,
older. Yeah.
that's why I don't actually mind the movie too much, but it's just got that like level there.
Yeah, true. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. So basically, the structure will be we talk about a little bit of news tidbits, and then we'll go into whatever movie we're looking at for that week. But I think generally speaking, we'll do a non-spoiler and a spoiler, which was the original plan for Infinity War. But then we saw the movie,
And
it's
it gets very jaded from there.
Ooh-wee. Speaking of jaded, and this actually works. Glass, right?
Yeah.
So that's not just. I'm not just talking about glass. Like you know what really.
you know the sheets of stuff that go across your
Windows,
the
am I
cover
right
around your
there?
house but let you see through them. You know that stuff. What's that called?
Yeah, that's totally what I meant. No, so I don't know if you remember this or if anyone remembers it, but just to keep everyone on track, a little movie called Split came out last year or the year before. Was it last year?
Yeah, I know. About 3 people saw it, I think.
It was last year. Good old M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. That was actually a pretty good movie. It was James McAvoy, and he played the guy who had like the multiple personalities, and it was interesting. And then at the end, turned into that beast thing. Then
Excellent description.
Then basically, end of the movie, they revealed that it's actually a sequel to Unbreakable, also M. Night Shyamalan, which was Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis was a superhero, and it was really cool, and that connection was really weird.
They call me Mr. Glass.
Kind of came out of nowhere. It was a bit weird, but, sure.
I know, it's a bit weird. I don't really see where the connection came from, but I mean, you just made a connection with George Clooney. So.
I get it now because it's like powers, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they came from the same place. Like,
and maybe this is just some like thing Shyamalan Ding Dong like thought up ages ago and was like, I could probably work it in.
Yeah.
Like maybe this character was worked into the script, and then they're like, but he doesn't actually work, and then they took him out. Maybe something like that.
Something like that, probably, because it's him and he's a nut job. But anyway,
could have fooled me.
They put out. Well, they haven't put it out officially yet, as far as I can tell. But Cinemacon is on at the moment, and they showed footage to the people there, and also a little poster of sorts, and it looks pretty cool, if you ask me.
I mean, I think they also put out a teaser poster for John Wick 3.
Really? Well,
yeah, in the official synopsis release.
I didn't see that. Let me have a look.
You fucking retard.
Well, there you go. That's
actually,
that's good.
Am I allowed to say that? I don't know.
Probably not, but you just.
It's literally just a black poster that says John Wick Chapter 3.
I think that's cool though. So.
And then it says release date May 17th, 2019.
There you go. So it's a year away. All right.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Anyway, yeah, well, I mean, wow.
Yeah,
there's not too much else to say about Glass. I just wanted to talk about it because I quite like I liked Split, and I love Unbreakable. So.
Yeah, Unbreakable is good.
Yeah. Now, so I'm just looking up Cinemacon now to see what other stuff we're getting, which is quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, Quiet Place 2, confirmed to be in the works.
Yep. The new Halloween movie, they showed footage from that.
That's right, yeah.
Which is like a direct sequel to the first one. No footage of Avatar 2, but apparently talks about it.
You mean that movie that'll be shot in space because James Cameron's a fucking... No. No. Oh, fuck.
Didn't he shoot like 3 of them all at once already?
I don't know. I don't know. He's a fucking maniac.
Yeah. Anyway, also someone said that there is going to be bits of Shazam and Aquaman shown,
I did hear that.
which is interesting. Also, a trailer
Makes
for the second live-action Jungle Book movie in 2 years. There is another one coming out.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It's not the same.
Did that movie do well?
It did actually, yeah.
Did it? Okay, then I wasn't sure. I personally didn't go see it because I have a strict stance on companies trying to use my nostalgia against me.
Yeah.
Um,
The first
but
one
yeah.
was, yeah, you know, what was the thing?
I mean, did you also see the Infinity War's writers revealed why they cut Adam Warlock?
No, but fuck, I'm not surprised. There was already
Yeah.
too much in that movie. But
Yeah,
speaking of,
it's
there was a new
Mhm.
Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer that was shown there, so that should be coming
Correct.
out in the next
Anyway.
couple of days.
Anyway. All right, we've got way off track here.
We have, but we always do that. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, all right
Well,
then.
the last
Anyway,
one,
let's.
though, footage from Bumblebee, the Transformers spin-off set in the 80s.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, apparently John Cena's in it. He's not
Oh
the main
well, why
character.
wouldn't he be?
It's
why
Haley
wouldn't he be?
Steinfeld.
Haley Seinfeld. Alrighty, let's continue on with this schedule, just so we can get into it.
Oh yeah, so do we want to talk about anything else, or are we... Is there any other news?
Um,
Oh, wait. Okay,
nah.
so the last bit of news we wanted to talk about is that Venom trailer.
Oh yeah, how did we
Thoughts?
miss
Thoughts
that?
on that?
I mean, it's got me more hyped for it now. I mean, you know me, I normally try and
So you-
avoid hypes and trailers, but
So you liked the trailer?
I actually didn't mind it. Yeah, I liked Venom. He looked good.
Yeah, I think so. I think it actually works pretty well. And they've sort of gone the way that I expected them to, but also not really. And I kind of like that.
Well, see, I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. I've watched like most of like his shit that he's been in, like TV
yeah,
shows and everything.
For sure.
I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, and I mean, something I always say when I watch a Tom Hardy movie or show is, you don't fuck with Mr. Hardy. Mr. Hardy fucks you, and I reckon that'll be this movie.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the main thing from the trailer, and that's what everyone's pulling from it, is the last shot, which is pretty great. Like, even
I mean, I liked how he said, "We are Groot." I mean, we are Venom.
I mean, yeah. Look, I drew comparisons to that, but no, I did like the way it looks, and compared to Spider-Man 3, it's a lot better. But the only thing that I can think of that I have wrong with it isn't necessarily the movie. It's the way that Sony have set it up, because they're retarded. Like, because obviously in the original Origin, it's the symbiote, not symbiote. If we must
Symbiote.
mention that, they call it the symbiote in this trailer, and I'm like, ooh,
The symbiote.
that's gross. Anyway, symbiote. It attaches itself to Spider-Man, becomes a part of him, takes its
He gets
style
a cool
from
black
him.
suit.
Yeah,
It's a cool black
and
suit.
then
man.
jumps to Venom, jumps to Eddie Brock when he gets rid of it. So
Yeah,
that's
man.
why it looks like Spider-Man, and why he hates Spider-Man. But in this, it can't look like him because he doesn't exist, I guess.
I don't know. They'll probably pull some like, you know. Did you ever watch this TV show Supergirl?
Yeah, and they had like Superman.
They
but as
they
a
never showed.
silhouette at first.
Yeah, they never actually showed. Not until season 2. It went until cause I think I'm talking about this for a sec. I think they thought that they weren't allowed to use Superman at all, and then I think they got they were like, why don't you show his face? They're like, oh, we're not allowed to. And I think they're like, why not? And they're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, so they cast him in the second one.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think maybe they'll do something like that though. I don't know.
Probably. But I don't really have much
Not
else to say
Spider-Man, but
about it.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think it looks good though.
I mean, I think I saw Anti-Venom was going to be in it, or they were talking about him being
That
in
could be
it.
good. Or Carnage.
I think I also heard I think they're trying to fucking cram all the symbiotes in it.
I think it's
No,
gonna be
it has to be anti-venom first because Carnage is the offspring of the Venom and the anti-venom symbiote, I think.
I think it'll be similar to Incredible Hulk. I don't know if you remember that movie, like the plot, but the guy, the bad guy, like turned himself into Abomination
Yeah.
to fight the Hulk. I
He
think it'll
gets
be a
thrown into a
similar
tree
thing.
mid-transformation.
Yeah, I think it'll be a similar thing where Venom is like Venom, and that bad guy that's in the trailer is like, I want to, you know, be the same. I want the same power. He gets the symbiote on himself to try and do that, and becomes anti-venom. I reckon that's probably what they're going to do. It seems the most
Probably.
likely route, and probably the easiest. But that's kind of all the
Yeah.
thoughts I have on that. To be honest,
Yeah, I mean, I try and avoid hype. It's let me down so many times, so
so many times.
I
think,
keep pretty neutral about things now.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because a lot of the time things are overhyped. I mean, like, the hype for Infinity War was fucking mental.
It was probably one of the first movies I've gone to, and the hype's been so real, but it's paid off fairly well, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon. Anyway, so we don't really have much else to say, because not much happened in the last week. Probably because they knew that it'd just be taken out by Infinity War theories and news and the premiere and all that shit, so no one bothered.
But where's
to
the
announce
Soul
anything.
Stone?
Where is it? The funny thing is, because like it hadn't officially released in America until not even yet. It still hasn't
Not
even
even
officially
yet.
released. So I'm still seeing videos of like, oh, where is the Soul Stone? Possible theory, and I'm like, actually,
You're wrong.
you're all wrong.
Everyone
So-
was wrong.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about Avengers now. Just a massive warning.
Here's a big one.
There's gonna be spoilers, and they are the kind you definitely don't want to know at all. Hashtag Thanos demands your silence, or whatever that hashtag was that they put out. But definitely do not listen to this if you haven't seen the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I guess that's our spoiler-free review part of it, is do you recommend going to see it?
No.
Okay.
I don't reckon it'll earn its money back, in all honesty. I reckon
Okay.
it's too small of an indie film. Yes, go fucking see it, you
Okay.
retard.
Okay, Ryan says go see it. Anyway, yes, massive spoiler warning from now onwards. Okay,
You have been warned.
let's go through it. As
Scene by scene?
Yeah,
Or-
as well as you can remember it, or better yet, we'll just go start to finish. But if we stay in one place too long, because it does move around a lot during the movie. So if we end up talking about Titan like out of order with everything else that crosses over across it, who gives a shit? Anyway, starts off straight into it, which I liked quite a lot. They knew that they had to put a lot of shit in this movie. Like, they did not fuck around. They pretty much said, there is no use introducing everyone again. You know who they are if you're watching the movie. So fuck you if you haven't seen other movies. This is what's happening. This is going on. This is where we're at. And holy shit.
Holy shit. Alright, so do you want me to start this off? Because I'm always pretty good at remembering this shit.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
Alrighty, so yeah, the film starts with... It starts straight into it. It's the ship that you see...
It starts where the end credit scene of Ragnarok. So...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that Ragnarok ended right there. So, boom, you cut into it. You see their ship, and it pans in the ship, all that kind of shit, and you see all the Asgardians, I think that's what they're called, dead. Everyone's dead.
Everyone that was on that ship at the end of Ragnarok. Because they all got on the ship, they escaped. Literally, first minute of the movie, dead. Mass genocide. They're all fucked.
Everyone's dead. The only two survivors, three survivors, four, jeez. Loki, Thor, Bruce Banner, Hulk,
Yep.
and, why can't I remember his name now? Oh my god. That starts with H, the sword guy. Heimdall, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I could not remember his name for the life of me. They're the only ones alive.
Not for long.
Yeah, not for long. So there's a bunch of dialogue. I can't remember the specifics. Basically, they're looking. It's Thanos looking for the
It's pretty much what I
Infinities.
predicted, which was
Yeah,
Thanos has Thor captive. Basically says to Loki, "You've got the which
Infinity Gem.
which one is it?
That would be
Because he
the
already okay. So
power.
no, better better way of
No.
explaining it. He already has the Power Stone,
Yeah, that's it.
which is the one that was in Guardians, the purple one. So that was the one that was in the orb. He's already got that. So the one, it's not reality. It's not mind. Is it?
What's the Tesseract one?
No.
Come on.
Oh, I can't. I'm gonna have to look it up.
The Space Stone. That's it.
Ah,
It lets you
space, yeah, no
travel
shit.
through space instantly.
So that's what lets him make the portals and shit, which you see.
That's
in
what
the trailer.
Red Skull had, and yeah, Loki had.
Yes. Yep. So that's basically that. But that's basically what I predicted for that. I predicted the first half hour correctly, I'd say. Not the rest, but the first half
Yeah.
hour. Which is
Alright, so,
basically,
Yeah,
he's got Thor captive, says to Loki, I'll give you Thor back if you give me the stone. If not, I'll just rip his head off. And I was like, holy shit. And Loki, just cocky as he is like, do it. And I actually thought Thor was dead at that
yeah.
point.
I actually thought they were just gonna kill Thor right there.
I legitimately thought, despite the fact that I'd seen him in other scenes in the trailer that I knew were going to be in the rest of the movie, I was like, well, Marvel have faked us out before, which they also did. And I didn't, I just thought for sure he was gone.
But here's a twist.
Twist.
Loki gets emotional and goes, "All right, fine, you can have the space gem," and pulls the Tesseract out of thin air, magical stuff.
As he does.
Hands it over. Then the Hulk runs in, charges Thanos. Sorry, and this is when you see, because I talked about this, that Thanos is stronger than the Hulk. He
Yes.
fucking easily bests the Hulk.
Like, at first, Hulk is beating the shit out of him, and this is where I was like, I am on board. Because Hulk is just beating the shit out of Thanos.
Yeah, but then Thanos easily just turns around, pretty much picks up the Hulk and just suplexes him in like layman's terms.
Yep, pretty much.
The Hulk gets done over. He turns back into Bruce Banner.
No, he doesn't.
No.
So Heimdall teleports him straight to Earth.
That's right. He uses the last of his dark magic.
The the Bifrost? Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Bifrost.
Yes, the
That's the
Bifrost.
big portal thing that they always use in Thor movies and whatever.
Yep.
And then Heimdall's
And then-
dead.
Yep, yeah, he gets killed right there. Then Loki tries to trick Thanos, ends up getting killed.
For real this
Holy
time.
shit!
For real.
This is insane. Me and Nathan were sitting there, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Not even 5 minutes in.
He tries to betray. Basically, he's like, "Oh, you need a guide for Earth. I'll help you." So he starts walking up to him, goes to like shake his hand or something.
I
He
don't
pulled out a
remember
knife.
the line, but it was a good line. Whatever he said
Yeah.
to Loki right as he killed him.
Yeah, and he just pretty much pulled out a knife, tried to slice his neck. Gets stopped, and then Thanos just picks him up, breaks his neck, dead.
It was incredible.
It was fucking unreal. I was not expecting it.
It was actually something else.
Oh my god, that movie.
So
And
that
then-
was a pretty big death, I'd say.
That was probably the biggest death, in all honesty, and we'll get into why, I guess.
Because, I mean, like, you've had him in the background. He's never really done anything that big. Like, obviously, he was in charge of the Chitauri invasion on New York and all that shit. But, like...
Which was actually done by Thanos.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, Thanos has never done anything big enough to be like, this guy is dangerous. And then in the first 30 seconds, he's murdered an entire planet's worth of people and then murders
A god.
a main character. A character who's been in, like, 5 movies.
An
out of
actual
18
god.
And been a main character. He just murders him. Two gods. Just right there. Gone.
Did you see that, apparently Loki, the actor's name, who slips my mind right now. Tom Hiddleston. He knew that about Thor's plan the whole time, since, like, Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, they told him what the whole plan was going to be with him.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So that's pretty interesting.
And he managed to keep
Alrighty.
it pretty well secretive. But yeah, anyway, that was
Yeah,
my
he's
other
not
part of
shit.
the
That's right.
prediction. Was they did what they did in Infinity Gauntlet, which it's slightly different because obviously they had Fox properties and they don't have that in Marvel. But in the comic, it's Silver Surfer gets sent straight down to Earth, crashes through the Sanctum Sanctorum, and sees Doctor Strange and is like, Thanos is coming. Like, fucking get prepared. But in this case, it's Bruce
Hulk.
Banner. Well, Hulk. Bruce Banner.
Well, yeah, Bruce Banner.
So he crashes down and he's like, Thanos is coming. And they're like, who the fuck is Thanos? And the other thing, too, is like, one scene that brings this up later is I sort of forgot, and you forget it because you watch all these movies and you see some people cross over. But not everyone has met yet. Like,
Yeah.
especially, so they do a lot of jokes with Bruce Banner because obviously he wasn't there for Civil War, which is when a lot of the superheroes
Yeah, he wasn't there
met.
for a lot.
And you realize that when he starts talking about, like, he's never met none of them have met Doctor Strange, which I completely forgot. So
Only Thor had, yeah, and
yeah,
he
so
wasn't
no
even.
one's met Doctor Strange. Bruce Banner hasn't met Ant-Man, Spider-Man, or Black Panther. And it's just like a lot of the jokes in the first half are about Bruce Banner not knowing anyone. But the scene that really made me go, oh shit, no one knows each other, was later on when the Guardians of the Galaxy clash with Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and they all think each other are the bad guy.
Yeah,
And
we'll
I was
go
like,
into more. Yeah,
I was like,
reckon
oh yeah, they don't know each other, or even of each other. It's pretty
yeah,
insane.
we'll talk more about that. Yeah, we'll talk more about that when we get to it, I reckon.
But yeah, the main part of the first bit is they already killed two main characters. And
Yeah.
then you sort of, they start establishing those separate groups.
Yeah, they started. Yeah, the people that will be in the groups and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, Bruce Banner crashes into the Doctor Strange's place, and he's like, "Hey yo, Thanos is coming."
Yep.
And
Basically
Tony Stark. No, Doctor Strange grabs Tony Stark just through magic or whatever. That's really not an important scene.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he's like, yeah, this is happening. And, you know, Tony Stark in his usual fashions, like, oh, just give him the stone that you have, because Doctor Strange has a time stone.
Yeah.
And all that kind of jazz. And he's like, no, we'll protect it with our lives.
Mm.
And, so then, yeah, and then one of Thanos's, two of the children of Thanos, whatever they're called, they come down.
I think it was Ebony Maw and Colt Obsidian are the two that go to Earth.
That would sound about right.
Mm.
They appear, and then an awesome wizard fight ensues.
That was pretty cool.
That was fucking excellent.
More Wong. I was very happy there was more Wong.
Yeah, did you know his name, the Wong's real name, like the real person, is Benedict Wong?
I did know that.
That's fucking trippy.
Mm. But, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
God, that movie. Yep, so that fight ensues. That was rather excellent, might I add.
Yep.
And what happens? That's right, they capture Doctor Strange.
Yes. So they take Doctor Strange.
After a magical fight, they knock out Doctor Strange and such, and then take him aboard their big donut-shaped ship.
Yep, which basically sends, because Iron Man and Spider-Man go up in that direction. Spider-Man gets his Iron Spider suit mid-air, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And they sort of establish... Is it there or is it later? Oh, it's in that ship, but it's slightly later on when they establish the arms out the back. Which, by the way, I did like... I mean, obviously it was harking to his Empire Strikes Back reference in Civil War. But when he referenced aliens and said, you know, let's do this, but didn't actually say what, and I was like, they're going to suck him out of the ship, out of a hole in the side. And that's what they did. And I was like,
Mr. Pop Culture over here.
So, yeah, that was pretty great. But, yeah, so like I said, we'll stick to just there for now rather than jumping around. But, like, in that part is sort of where they introduce the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor runs into them, all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, on that ship with Iron Man, they sort of establish a lot, and I guess like that dynamic between those three, mainly that like Iron Man and Doctor Strange are clashing quite a lot. Um,
Well, they're both very self-righteous. Obviously, Doctor Strange was a very well-off surgeon, so he's from that higher class society,
they're both
bit of a
from
prick
like
kind of thing.
higher up positions. They both seem like they are the leader of the team. So a lot of the time it's them clashing with plans, like let's do this, no, let's do this, and it's. I did like that a lot actually.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd done a bit more with Spider-Man. He kind of felt like a, I don't know, like
I wish they
you know,
did, but I understand why they didn't.
yeah, kind of an afterthought
He kind
almost.
of was in
Not,
the
he
comic. He
wasn't,
didn't
but
do
he,
much in the comic.
yeah, but I reckon he's. I don't want to say a well established character because he's only had one movie, been in two. Um, but I don't know. The character I reckon they could have done a bit with. Could have had more of like a dynamic between him and Tony Stark, even, or even have him like
Probably.
get more attached to Doctor Strange, and then Tony be
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, you're my son" or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Something like
it was
that.
hard to do everything in the one movie, so I understand why they
Obviously, yeah,
didn't
we
do
were
it.
talking about how crammed it did feel, so doing that would have probably added to too much.
Yeah. Um, but I did like that. Um, I guess in that regard as well, everyone sort of. No one seems like they're not the same character they always are. The directors, Anthony and Joe Russo, they're really good at just like keeping everyone to their character, and they managed to put everyone in this movie. And I know you said it, it did feel crammed a bit at times,
Mm.
but I do think that they did a really fucking good job of evening it out across everyone's stories.
Well, yeah, like the jumping back and forth between people was done quite well. It wasn't
Yes, I
like
did like
it
that.
didn't
At
feel
first,
too.
I was like, why do they keep doing this? But in the end, it makes sense because
I tell you what, yeah, what they did do though, that I get why they did it as well, but they did it in yeah, like in Civil War, and that they had the titles for where they were,
yeah, they did that
and
a
I get
lot.
why they did it, but it just I don't like it personally. I don't know. For me, it just for some reason it ruined something about the flow. I think
Sometimes it does, yeah,
it was just a personal thing, but I mean it was useful for the scene where they get to fucking the Soul Stone.
yeah, definitely.
Just to explain what that is.
But I did like the as I said, when I was about halfway through, I was like, I think jumping around a lot. For me, I was like, why is it still doing this? But then at the end, when he does the old snap of his fingers,
Razzle dazzle.
the old razzle dazzle, it makes sense because he does that, and then it means they can show all those different places one after the other, and it doesn't feel like it's just jumping into random places because it's just been in all those places
Yeah.
equally.
It,
Um,
it's equally spaced out, so it doesn't feel like
yeah, so it
you're
feels
like, oh wow, yeah, Wakanda. I haven't seen that since the start of the movie.
exactly. So everything feels like there's it's only been 10 minutes since you've seen the last place, at the most. So it seems like I really liked that. But anyway,
I think they were probably working off the mentality of like a child's attention span.
yeah.
If
So
something doesn't happen in like 10 minutes, they're gonna get bored. Kind of thing. I
I
think
did
they'll.
like the pacing a lot. There was always something going on, and that became more apparent because I was running on an hour and a half sleep. So it meant that like there was no boring part of the movie because everything was happening constantly. Even the parts where people were talking, they'd be talking, but it was
They
something
weren't talking
important.
for no reason, and it added enough that you were like, well, I have to pay attention, otherwise I'm gonna miss something. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
and
talk about Ant Man
everything
and
was short and snappy.
yeah, talk about Ant Man and Hawkeye just for like a brief second.
I still can't believe they weren't in it at all. I just
Yeah, I didn't
assumed
think
Ant
Ant
Man
Man
would
would
make an
be, but I thought
appearance because his movie's coming out, but
yeah. See,
I
I
was
didn't
really
think he
shocked.
would. I mean, I thought Hawkeye would make an appearance because everybody saw him on set as like dressed like Ronin,
That's true. That's what
but
I
that must
thought.
that must
That
be
might
for
have been
part
Avengers
two.
4. Yeah. I on that though, I think one thing that I thought about, and I get it just like I forgot about it after I'd thought about it, but um, I get like for example Iron Man, right, and say Doctor Strange, they've seen a lot of shit. that. Like Iron Man's been in giant fights with a robot army and the Chitauri and whatever. So like seeing that giant ship in the sky and going for it and whatever, that just like for him it's nothing. But there was something off about the fact that Spider-Man just seemed fine with it all.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
he,
Like,
he makes a joke about not liking heights or something in Homecoming, doesn't he?
I really, like, I get it. You know, he had to be there for those things, but I just some of the things he sees and like he's in space.
Yeah, he's in space and he
never really says
totally
anything
cool
about
with it.
Yeah, it's like he's done it before, and like I get it with Iron Man because it's like, oh yeah, he's
he's
through a
done
lot of shit.
fucking ridiculous shit. Yeah,
but Spider-Man's never been through that. The things he's done, I mean, he might maybe.
I mean, I guess
because he
well, I was
was
gonna say, I guess we
Spider-Man
don't know
for
what's
6 months
happened in 2
before
years.
Civil War. We don't actually
Yeah.
know technically, but I think, yeah, generally speaking, the two major things he's been through in the movies is the heroes that he's fighting with now. He fought against them, and that's it, in an airport, and a guy in a bird costume. So, like, I don't think... It just seemed weird at first, but I guess I forgot about it because, like, everything else was happening. But that was something that I thought of when it happened. I was like, why is he not making a comment on this? It seems like the sort of thing that a normal teenager would be like, what the fuck? I'm in space. This is terrifying. But...
Well, at first, it was kind of... Because in the comics, there's a thing where Spider-Man attaches himself to a, like... Just like some warhead or whatever, flying to space. Flying to, like, you know, blow up, whatever. And he's up there and he passes out because, you know, it runs out of oxygen, stuff like that. But he disables, like, the circuitry and thinks he's going to die.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a cool reference. Maybe they'll bring down the ship or something and then he'll think he's going to die and get saved. But then, no, yeah, he just... Iron Man comes along, throws the Iron Spider-Man suit and launches him off and then he stays on, you know.
But I mean, I still liked it. But, yeah, definitely like all of that stuff. And like I said earlier, the clash between the Guardians and them was really good. I liked that a lot. Because, it made you go, oh shit, yeah, they don't know of it. Like, even the Guardians, they're like big in space, but they don't even know who the Avengers are. When Thor mentions them, they're like, who the fuck is that? Which, by the way, was one of the best lines in the movie, right?
Oh, yeah, for
Drax's
sure.
line. I don't remember it specifically, but...
Which is it not... No, he is a man, you're a dude, or something like that.
Oh, that was amazing. But yeah, what was the one where they said, like, was it Where Are the Avengers? Or...
Oh, yeah.
Was it that? I don't remember it. I just remember it was
Are
the
you
best
working
line
for...
in the movie.
Yes, it's like something like, who's working for Thanos? I'll one-up you, you working for Thanos, and he's... Something like that, or maybe...
I can't remember what it was, but it was just the
Fuck,
greatest
it's so
line.
funny. I want to remember it now.
I've got to find it, because that was hilarious. I loved that. But, speaking of, though, you really realise when you're watching it, and not in a bad way, like in the best way possible, that James Gunn clearly wrote the Guardians dialogue. Like, that's known now that he did that, but you can tell that it's the same writer as the movies, because they're the same characters, and they speak the same, and they still have the same, like...
Well, yeah, Peter Quill's the same arrogant, you know, guy, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like,
caring.
the Russo brothers would have kept their characters, but you can just tell that it's written by the same guy. Because they're the same characters, completely.
I think the Guardians are so popular that I think, like, Marvel Studios are probably like, we'll just let him write the lines to avoid anything.
Yeah,
anyone,
exactly.
you know, complaining about it, really.
I really liked it. And I did like everything they did. And I think Rocket Raccoon was really good in this movie. I don't know why. He just he stood out a lot.
He was just Rocket, but yeah, no, he did it. Bradley Cooper did a good job.
And I think Teenage Groot was a good little... That was a good joke running through. Like, you know, I don't think in its own Guardians movie it would have been as good, because like, you'd have to put a little more attention on it. Then again, they did Baby Groot, so... But, like, I think Teenage Groot worked really well for this movie, so that by the next one, he's, like, young adult Groot.
Well, no. He disappears.
I mean, yeah, But I mean, like the next Guardians movie, because let's just assume that they're not going to kill him, because
They've already done that once.
they killed every major character. Well, not every major character. Everyone that's going to move on.
We're jumping ahead of ourselves here, Nathan.
We might as well. No, but I think the only other major thing I want to talk about in the middle, because it's really unexpected, but at the same time, it's a lot of stuff that you do expect. I think the most unexpected part was Iron Man and Captain America, both still alive.
Yeah, well, they're gonna bring it together. There's gonna be some bro love.
It was insane. I did not expect both of them to survive, and they did. But the part in the middle before we get to the ending, or the last 20 minutes, I should say. So Gamora, that was an interesting. I liked her arc in the whole movie, right?
Fuck yeah.
Until, that point of the movie, which I think was probably the biggest, apart from the ending, the biggest twist was I don't remember I don't know if you remember it as well as I do, but that's only because I just rewatched it a couple of days ago. But in the first Captain America, Red Skull dies in quotation marks, because he's like, I can control the Tesseract, grabs it with his bare hands, and he's like, he disappears basically. He's like,
yeah,
he vanishes.
Like the Space Stone does.
Yes, so he basically just disappears, and everyone's like, well, he's dead. No, he's not. He's here, defending the Soul Stone.
He's fucking alive. Yep, he's guarding the Soul Stone.
Which is fucking insane.
Whatever fucking planet was on, I can't remember.
It was insane. Literally.
It was fucking crazy. Because basically, Thanos captures Gamora. That's kind of a part, but captures Gamora, and then she takes him to where the Soul Stone is, and there's this black hooded figure, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" He's like,
"At first, I thought it was going to be the guy called the Other, which was he was in Avengers, and he was basically the guy that Loki talked to, like Thanos' messenger, basically." At first, I just assumed that's what it was because he wore a black hood. But then the longer it went on with them not showing him, I was like, oh, now this is someone big.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So he's like, oh, yeah. And the black hooded guy's like, oh, you're Thanos, son of whoever. And then Gamora, daughter of Thanos. And then he's like, how do you know us? And he's like, oh, I've been cursed with knowledge like yourself. And he takes off the hood. And holy shit, did that surprise me. I was like, what the fuck? How do you even bring this character back?
Yeah, I just never expected a character like that to come back, but wow, holy shit.
Like, I always go on about, they killed Red Skull far too early. Like, they got rid of him, sorry.
Yeah.
Far too early. But this was definitely a fucking freak moment, like, bring back. Like,
yeah,
holy
I don't know
shit.
if they'll keep him, but it's interesting to know he's still there, and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, that was a big moment.
Yeah, that was just fucking crazy.
Because it's things like that where it
that
really
whole scene was just a fucking
the whole universe.
Yeah, that whole scene was just fucking unreal.
I mean, yeah, like with the whole it's got to be someone you love, and like that was an insane moment, which really made me realize Thanos was the main character of this movie, really, like because
Thanos Infinity War, like I said earlier.
Yeah,
that scene what should have been.
Is the scene that makes you realize he's the main character because they don't, like, he starts crying.
Yeah, there's more to his motif than is previously revealed.
Yeah, so he literally starts crying and throws Gamora, but like struggles to throw Gamora.
Yeah, alright, yeah, we'll talk about the scene a bit more. Basically, the Soul Stone requires a sacrifice of something you love, like a part of your soul. And Gamora starts, going on about how he'd never loved anything and how he's failed because he's never loved anyone. And the whole time he's crying. And he turns around and she's like, oh, really, tears because you failed or something like that. And he's like...
And then has that realization.
Well, Red Skull's like, they are not tears for himself or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, holy fuck.
And everyone else in the whole theater was like, holy fuck. And he grabs her and just tosses her off this cliff.
obviously not like that. He is fucking crying. Like,
But
this
like in
is
tears, which was insane.
he doesn't. They did a good job of making him seem very emotive, and this was obviously hard for him because in comics and in the movie, Gamora is his favorite daughter. There's a thing you might have seen. It was like every Christmas, Thanos would only celebrate Christmas with Gamora because he was her favorite or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was obviously
But
like
wow, that was probably
that was a powerful scene. I reckon
That
that really tied Thanos into a breakout character because, like I've been
Definitely.
saying, the Marvel movie's been suffering from villain problem.
yeah
Bad
for sure.
villains. This villain had, the character, just the charm
The
to
character, the
really.
emotion, but the power as well, and I think that's why Loki worked, and that's why Thanos works.
Yeah,
For that same reason.
they had more than just a bad intent. Like
That's why
Thanos believes
Joker
what he's
works in
doing
the
is
comics.
helping the
That's
universe.
why, like all DC villains work like that in the comics for the same reason. They've all got that level of power, but at the same time, they all have emotion behind them.
Well, yeah, Captain Cold generally in comics is when he was a villain, yeah, he had emotion behind it. He was doing it for reasons and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that scene was real powerful. That scene really was probably the most. It's weird to say, it was probably the most powerful scene.
Definitely, yeah.
It was definitely done the best,
That
and
was.
you
It
can
was the
definitely
most
tell it
powerful.
was a lot of thought went into that one, and I think a lot of thought went into that. You could probably tell a lot more. Yeah, they put a lot more time into that scene to try and because they wanted to push through that. No, Thanos isn't just a bad guy.
Definitely, yeah. No, I got that from that scene. That was insane.
No, that's good.
But yeah, I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to go like scene by scene through the whole thing because it's a long
Well,
movie.
after this, there's the Battle of Wakanda. That's really the next main
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, but let's go. We'll do it like this. I want to know. I mean, yeah, there's the Battle of Wakanda, which is kind of what you expect. I, I don't know how to even say this. I guess just like, what's your favorite scene, not including the ending?
It just really has to be that Thanos and Gamora scene, like for the Soul Stone. It's really just it has the most power behind it, and that's obviously this is just a superhero movie.
Yeah,
But
it really.
a movie like Logan showed that there was more to a superhero movie than superheroes. And I'm not saying this scene is on par with Logan because that movie is spectacular. But the scene conveyed so much emotion and it really pushed through. That Thanos was doing this and he felt that he needed to do this at all costs.
Yeah, definitely.
But it wasn't going to be easy on him. He didn't realize that it would cost him Gamora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the best scene for me, and by the way, before I say what mine is, this is probably the most comic book like movie that they've put out. I think
It's very it had more joke like comedy than I
it's
thought.
so much like it's a comic book to me.
It is very comic book, yeah.
Compared to like when I think about Iron Man, I think about that as a movie because they grounded the character in a way, not like Dark Knight, but like they grounded the character, so it still felt realistic. This feels realistic, but it feels like they're at the point now where it's becoming way more like the comics. I fucking love it. It's
It's becoming real outrageous.
It's so different, but I like.
Well, yeah, the whole movie conveyed the same thing as like reading a comic book. You can get the emotions of you're reading and you're like you're having a good old laugh, but they can also have those real scenes. Really break it down and have it hard. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like pre-52 DC stuff had a lot of that. Especially with the Flash and other such things.
Yeah, definitely. Which I think is what a good direction they're taking. But yeah, my favorite scene, and it ties into the Gamora, but it's after that when they all on Titan, not all of them, but the ones that are on Titan.
Ah, yes.
Hold Thanos down, and they have him locked down, and Star-Lord finds out that Gamora's dead. That was
he fucked up
best
hard,
scene, and it was the best. That was the most emotionally taxing scene for me because as bad as the ending is, it doesn't feel definite. It didn't feel definite when it happened. but this felt like legit and real, and it fucking hurt. Because basically, like, it's when they've all got him tied down, he finds out about it, and he just cracks, like, really cracks, and it was like the same look in his eyes that he had when he found out about
Ego
Ego.
killed his mum.
Yeah, when Ego was like, that shouldn't have put the tumor in her head or whatever, and he just cracked. It was that same thing, and he just fucking punches Thanos in the face, and I was like, oh my god. And then Thanos just takes them all out.
Well, yeah, it causes them to lose their grip on Thanos, and Thanos just takes them
all out. But yeah, again, I don't want to go too much into it. You did earlier mention Peter Dinklage, and when that happened, which was the Thor, Groot, and Rocket portion of the movie, when that happened, I just looked at you and I was like, is that Peter Dinklage?
It made me so uncomfortable to look at.
It was interesting, but like I really liked it. I thought it was funny because it's like, a dwarf planet, and he was the last one left, and I just didn't expect Peter Dinklage in a Marvel movie, but because he was an X-Men
There you
as well.
go.
He was
He did a really good job. He was a really good.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Just out of nowhere,
I mean,
I thought it was amazing.
He got Stormbreaker, which I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, that was pretty great. But also let's talk about that. So some of you may know that I'm actually a fucking loser, and I bought Avengers Lego. And one of the sets is based around that scene specifically. And the minifigure for Thor has both his eyes. And everyone was like, well, the Lego set's incorrect. They just assumed that it was incorrect, not that it was a spoiler. They just said, it's incorrect. He lost his eye, should have the eye patch. Don't know why he doesn't have the eye patch. But then, is it Rocket that gives him the eye?
He does. He just has a robotic eye.
Well, because he stole it in the last movie, didn't he? He stole it from someone. Or
no, he just
Guardians
stole it
1.
at some point. It was just like
I'm pretty sure he stole an eye in the first movie. Because you know how there was the whole joke about, I want that guy's leg. I'm pretty sure he stole someone's eye.
Probably. I can't fucking
But, yeah, Thor gets a robotic eye, and he has both his eyes, so, yeah.
Well, that also happened when they released the promotional pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, so that was another
he had both...
fake out, and I was saying this to you as well. So they did 2 CGI fake outs. The 2 major fake outs. One being Thor has his eye patch in that scene in the trailer. In the movie, he does not. So that was, obviously, they put it in afterwards, and not in that scene. So, like, they made it so that in the trailer you wouldn't know that he was getting his eye back, obviously. The other main fake out is to do with the Infinity Gems, because that scene where he's fighting Captain America, the last shot of the trailer, he's only got 2 gems in his hand, which is the 2 that everyone knew he was going to have. But by that point of the movie, he has all of them
5.
but 1. And that's in the movie. So that was pretty insane to see that. It was just another fake out. As similar, as I said, to Civil War, where the trailer didn't have Spider-Man in that shot of them running at each other. In the movie, he was in it. So it's just like a as they're editing it in post, they don't add something, and then they put that in the trailer, and then they add it in the movie, and it's so good when they do that. I'd love it. I think it's a really good way to do it. But yeah, so... Do you want to talk about that ending?
Yeah, let's talk about the ending. I've been teasing it for a while.
Holy shit. So, like I said to you, I did not expect in this movie that he would get all the gems. I didn't think he would.
Yeah, they really, I don't want to say jumped the gun, but yeah, they really fucking did a lot, didn't they?
He got all the gems, and like they sort of teased at him killing they teased him killing Thanos. No, they teased him killing Vision, and then didn't. And I was like, I don't know. But then, like,
can we talk about the Vision? Wait, I just want to talk about the Vision scene for a second.
Yeah.
The whole thing is they're in Wakanda, and they're trying to remove Vision's the mind gem or whatever it is from his head.
Yeah.
And they can do it, but then Thanos, the children of Thanos come in and they start a war and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they
That's
talk
the scenes you
about
see in the trailer.
how in Wakanda, like Shuri is saying, I should be able to take the gem out, but keep Thanos alive. Thanos. I keep saying that. Vision.
Yeah, why do you keep doing that, Vision?
Keep Vision alive. Because I think it's Bruce Banner. He's like, Vision has more to him than just that gem. He's like got the gem and that powers him, but he's got Ultron,
like
he's got Jarvis, he's got Bruce Banner, and he's got Tony Stark, basically. So
they all have the different consciousness, basically.
Yeah, and he says like he's learning from all of them, and he's becoming more sentient through the 4 bits of knowledge that he has. So I think that was interesting, but then the way that they sort of faked that out, and then at the end Thanos just rips it out of his head and literally kills him, puts him back to the state he was in, where he's just a blank slate, basically.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good because he
I think they will bring him back, but
I don't know if they will.
I think they will in the next movie, but they'll do it in the way that Shuri was explaining, where they'll power him up in a different way, not with the stone.
Yeah, well, yeah, basically what happened was Scarlet Witch possesses enough power to break the stone. Whatever happens, and then Thanos is coming up to him or whatever, everyone's trying to fight him off, and she's using all her power to blow up the stone.
I think that was probably my favourite moment in the movie, was that...
That's a pretty powerful scene as well.
Where, she's like breaking it in tears, he's screaming, and then she breaks it.
She breaks it, and then Thanos is like, huh, and just uses the time gem.
He said some pun about time, and the second he said it, I was like, oh, come on, he's not going to. And then he just did the Doctor Strange, where he pulls back time and just takes the stone. And
rips it right out of his head. It's fucking brutal.
And that was that was probably my favourite part of the movie, apart from the ending, favourite part was Star-Lord punching him in the face. Favourite part, by far, is that. Breaks the stone, everything goes silent, everyone goes, what the fuck's going to happen now? Because a lot of the time you forget that the stones are there. But then it's at that moment, because he doesn't use them all together, because you can't, you use one at a time, pretty much. So, like, he uses the reality stone or whatever, and, like, you sort of forget that the time one is there, and I think they did that on purpose. He doesn't use it at all.
Well, neither does Doctor Strange during the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think that's the point, is they keep it forgotten in a way, because he uses the reality stone so much, like, to show off what
about 3 times just to change,
that Drax thing and Mantis, where he, like, made them all a different form. That was interesting. But, like, that was a really cool way of doing it, by not bringing the time stone up a lot, to then have that come back at the end and everyone go, oh shit, it's still there. And he just reverses time, takes the stone out, puts it in his glove, and snaps his fingers. And that was the fucking... I think that was the moment where everyone in the cinema just shat their pants. Like...
They're like, oh, fuck, he's won. He actually did it.
It was straight out of the comics. He snapped his fingers, everything went white. What was interesting about that ending, and obviously, like, anyone that's listening to this has seen the movie, but what was interesting was who was taken away, like, into dust.
I think they did it strategically.
It definitely was, but it's an interesting way that they did it, and I think that it mostly took away, it mostly kept the main Avengers from the original, but it kept some other ones where I was like, that's a weird choice, and I wonder why, because I wanted them to explain that, and then the movie fucking ended right there, and I was like, holy shit, but, like, I wanted to know why those people were chosen, because it was Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Nick Fury in the intro scene, Teenage Groot, Drax, like, it was fucking, like, gone, like that.
Yeah. They just turned to dust, disappear, yeah.
But they kept Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk. They kept Scarlet Witch, did they? Or did they kill her? I can't remember.
No, she disappears.
She disappears. So I think it was mainly just the original Avengers that were kept.
See, well, a lot of those people, I think their contracts end. Like, I know Captain America, was it Chris Evans? His contract was meant to end that movie, but he's sticking around for the next one.
I guess that was the trick.
And so I think
because
what
everyone
they're
thought he
gonna
was going
do
to
is
die.
like a
So
proper
they
killing,
probably extended
like
his contract and just didn't
not
say
this like
anything.
bullshit pansy snap the fingers and he's
For an extra, I
gone
hope just for
thing.
the
It's
next
gonna
movie.
be a
But I think
proper,
that's what happened. I think it was
you
a
know,
little bit of
they're
a
gonna
fake out
fight
on
to
their
the
part.
death, and then
And
their
there were
characters will
so many
die.
fake outs. They really just, yeah.
I don't know. I reckon that's just what I think will happen.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. That the whole ending, and then the scene at the end was similar to the end of Infinity Gauntlet, but slightly different because I don't know if you've read that comic, but at the end he Thanos, that's after he sort of loses. He Well, he doesn't lose actually. He changes his mind. But he puts Titan back to normal again. He's like sitting sort of in tranquility, and he's like back to being just a farmer on that planet. He's just like living his life out, whatever. But by that point, everything's fixed. But in this movie, nothing's fixed yet. Like he's destroyed half the universe.
Well, that was his plan. His planet was destroyed because of overpopulation. So his whole thought was, well, if we kill half the universe, that'll mean overpopulation won't be a problem.
Yeah. So Titan's back. He's just sitting on Titan by himself, and then the fucking movie ends.
I was sitting there because I was like, oh man, this movie's been going for a while, and it just ends. I'm like,
And so
I didn't mean that.
the biggest fake out that they had was the Russo brothers saying, the last 10 years have been the book that Marvel's been writing. This is the final chapter. Avengers 4 is separate. It's not a part 2. Bull fucking shit, it's not a part 2. Holy shit. I think that was the point too. It really threw you off because you expect the movie to just wrap up, you expect it to conclude, and then...
Well, I thought, the next one was going to be something like, New Avengers or something like that.
But not now. I had all these theories about what it's going to be, and, like, I don't even think it's going to be disassembled now. I'm going straight for Infinity Gauntlet, because at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, or, halfway through, is sort of when they go into Thanos, and he, like, destroys the universe, and he's all like, oh, I've got control, I've fixed everything, but then he realizes he hasn't, and he's like, oh, everything's wrong, and he fixes everything for real and brings everyone back.
Well, the whole thing is, everything in the universe will try and fix itself when something happens.
Yeah.
Because Tony Stark even talks about that when he gets the Infinity Gauntlet. He fakes everyone out. He's like, yep, look at that. I made it so the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity Gems never existed.
Yep.
Willed him out. But then, no, he, then later, it's the Illuminati and they're talking. And he's like, yep, I wouldn't destroy it because the universe will just bring something back to try and counteract it. So if we all look after it, all that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of like, that's pretty much that sort of relating.
It's quite a movie.
Fuck me.
And just the ending, yeah. I mean, like, I've seen a lot of people be like, what the fuck about the ending? Because it really is, like, insane.
I mean, we were talking about it yesterday when we saw the ending. We were kind of like, we were annoyed because it didn't feel like a proper movie because it didn't have a proper ending.
Yeah.
And that was, like, we'll talk about, at first I was annoyed by that. Like, I could probably say underwhelmed in all honesty. But then as I've sat back on it and given it time to look back, definitely it was a good ending.
Yeah, for sure. The post-credit scene, there's not much to say. But you got Nick Fury and Maria Hill back, which was pretty cool to have both of them back there.
For a few seconds.
Yes. And then he makes a call as he's dying to someone. We don't know who, but we sort of assume because it's like a space-like device. And then, they show Captain Marvel's logo. So that was pretty
fucking
cool.
called it. Yeah, well, you thought it was going to be fucking...
Well, it had to be Captain Marvel,
Hawkeye?
Ant-Man, or Hawkeye.
And I was like, it's going to be Hawkeye? I'm like, nah, it's Captain Marvel. They got to bring her in.
And it was Captain Marvel. So, I think that was interesting. Obviously, the two movies that come out before the next one are Ant-Man and Captain Marvel. So Ant-Man is going to be completely separate because it's Ant-Man. And obviously he wasn't in this movie, so they don't have to tie that in at all. And then you've got Captain Marvel, which is set in the 90s. So that's
Yeah,
tied into it, but not really.
very disconnected in a way.
Yeah. So anyway, um, interesting. I think she's going to be the one that takes him out in the end.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, it's hard to speculate now because yeah, I was speculating for a different movie for Avengers 4.
Exactly, because we expected this to be like the conclusion, and now it's not. So anyway, that's kind of all I've got to say about it, to be honest. If I talk for any longer, I'll just baffle myself because I still can't believe it was really.
It really happened,
It
yeah.
was like that. Like that was actually how it ended. It's insane. Yeah. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of all
Anyway,
we're gonna say. I hope no
I
one's
think
listened to this without seeing
yeah,
the movie, because yeah,
you've
definitely.
got it ruined for you, yeah.
But like, I should say to you, because I'm seeing it a second time, pretty much definitely. Do you think you want to see it a second time?
I will probably see it a second
You
time.
think
Hannah
so?
wants to go see it, so I'll go. Yeah, it's a good excuse to go see it a second time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think yeah, it doesn't seem like the sort of movie where you have to see it twice, but I think it'd be good to see it twice.
May as well. I mean, why fuck not?
Well, yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, okay, that's all I have to say about it. I should ask. Uh, so we came up with our review system last week with these shots. What would you give this out of 5 shots?
4.5.
4.5. I'd go 4.5.
4.5. It was a good movie. It did have its flaws, but I think the good definitely outweighs the bad in this movie.
I think in terms of it tying everything together, it did a really good job. But at the same time, it didn't because fucking.
Well, yeah, and tied everything into a nice, neat bow, and then proceeded to throw that bow into a pit of fire,
Pit of
and
fire.
watch as it burns. Yeah.
Yeah, much. But I mean, it's safe to assume that the ending's not definite because they wouldn't kill the people that are going to make them the most money.
They killed Black Panther
And
after
Spider-Man.
just make. They're like, he's making too much money. We got to get him out of
He
here.
made the most money out of all the movies. Get him out of here.
He's making too much. Yeah,
I made a
we
joke
made the.
about,
we're making the joke.
about at that same point of the movie, they should have shown Kevin Feige holding a check that read like all the
$20
names of
billion.
the movies, like $20 billion, and then that turns to dust as well, because pretty much did.
Just-
So anyway,
It just stares at the Russo brothers.
but yeah, that was interesting. Okay, yeah, there's that.
Anyway, I think that'll pretty much wrap up the podcast.
Pretty
in all
much.
honesty.
Do you want to do a quick do you have anything planned for watching this week? I mean, obviously now that that's over, you don't have to catch up with Marvel movies or anything. So, is there anything you got on your watch list? I should say.
Not in particular. I mean, I've been watching a new show on Netflix called The Alienist.
Oh yeah, yep, I've heard about that.
That's not. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's set in like turn of the century, fucking steam, New York or whatever.
Yep.
When they just building the Brooklyn Bridge and shit. Yeah, started. And that's not too bad. I like the setting and the scenes for that. They look fucking impeccable. If you're a fan of set design and shit, that you want to be watching it. It's fucking brilliant. Every set is on point.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the story itself is pretty but I'm enjoying it. It's a good
Cool.
tune in, tune out show. How about yourself?
That I'm thinking I'm gonna try and do Lost in Space this week. We talked about that a little bit last week.
Yeah, I
Um,
forgot about that.
I think it's that. I don't know if I'm going to start that this week or not, but I want to dedicate myself to watching that. I want to catch up with a couple of different shows. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Well, Westworld started.
Westworld started, so I'll probably start watching that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Thanks for listening, if you have been listening. Most people will probably listen to this later on, I'd say. Like, I know Brady, he's not seeing it till Saturday. So he's going to...
Well, my mechanic, that I mention a lot.
Seems like a secondary
he-
character in this podcast, but yep, go on.
He's a secondary. He's like a fucking invisible voice, but yeah, he's been trying to see it, but he needs tickets for 3 people.
Okay.
So him and his 2 sons, and yeah, he said it's still fucking hard to get tickets.
Just should mention that yesterday everywhere was sold out.
every movie running that whole day at Southland was sold
Every
out.
showing sold out. It was pretty insane.
Doesn't matter. 3D, 2D, gold class,
It was nuts.
fucking, anything. They were all sold out.
I'm waiting
And
for Monday or Tuesday because that's usually when they get the weekend box office, and I think it's going to be fucking insane.
It's got to be more than fucking Black Panther.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's all we're going to talk about for this week. So next week, we'll watch X-Men or X-Men Origins Wolverine, one of the two. But you'll know because it'll be in the title. So anyway, I've been Nathan.
I've been right. Yeah.
Mid-yawn.
I've been yawning.
I've been yawning. And this is Screenshot, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Thanks, boys and girls.